Gente, estoy nervioso, ¿eh? Llevo toda la tarde, el día, pensando que nos podemos encontrar. De locos, de locos, de locos, ¿eh? Pongo la cámara, ¿vale? Aún quedan 9 minutos para que empiece. Terminar. Techland. Vale, vamos a ver. Vale, Techland ya empezó el directo. Perfecto, perfecto. Genial. A ver. Madre mía, de gente que hay tú. 36.000 personas en el directo de Techland, ¿eh? 36.000 personas. De locos. Creo que se peta, ¿eh? Se va a petar. Dios. 7 minutos quedan. 7 minutos para que empiece el evento. O la conferencia, no sé qué es. Yo he puesto conferencia porque me imagino que van a hablar pues de algo del juego, ¿no? Y pondrán algún vídeo o algo. A ver. Bueno, un saludo para Ultra Omega, Sancris, Ragnadox, el Macking. Un abrazo, tío. Gracias por estar ahí. Perfecto. Voy a poner el mío justo donde está el de Twitch. Así no estorba tanto, ¿sabes? Estoy nervioso, ¿eh? Estoy nervioso, bro. Estoy puto nervioso. Estoy puto nervioso. ¿Y se ha suscrito? Extremegamer. Un abrazo, hombre. Y como tengo la esta, no lo puedo ver. La tengo que mirar ahí. ¡Ay, Dios mío! ¿Qué pensáis que vamos a ver, tío? Saldrá recién en diciembre de 2021. ¿Cómo sabes que va a salir en diciembre? Yo también he visto el vídeo ese, ¿eh? El teaser, pero claro, no sé si va a salir. No sé si es cierto, tío. Me imagino que lo hablarán ahora, ¿no? Ya de lobo. Tonton Light, bienvenido, tío. Muchas gracias por suscribirte al de YouTube. Oh, Dios mío. Vale. Voy a poner ya esto. Aún queda, ¿eh? Aún quedan 4 minutos, pero voy a ponerlo ya. ¿Vale? Bueno. Félix, bienvenido, tío. ¿Qué está pasando? ¿Qué está pasando aquí? Si no sale en PS4, ¿quién para los ver? Sí, va a salir en PS4, hombre. Va a salir, locos. Le vamos a poner... Vale. 4 minutos quedan. Mirad el chat, tío. ¡Yo! Aquí no se van a enterar, Seguro que no se enteran, tío. Los de Techland, Mirad. ¿Cuántas personas, tío? Dios, es flipante, loco. Es flipante. Madre mía, tío. Dios, cuánta gente. 4 minutos quedan, tío. 4 minutos. 4 minutacos. Bueno, la gente que está aquí, ¿vale? Esto de ingleses, macho. Los que están hablando, claro. Por lo menos, lo que me parece a mí. Porque porque están hablando en inglés. Le digo que sale para febrero o marzo de 2022. No creo. No creo, aunque lo dirán, ¿eh? Lo van a decir. Lo van a decir, tío. Desde Canarias, muy buenas. Muy buenas, Aaron. Desde Canarius. Dios mío. Uy, perdón, que le he dado sin querer. Rubinator 123, muy buenas. Yo creo que las suscripciones esas que han estado apareciendo un montón, yo creo que eran de antes. Lo que pasa es que no sé por qué, pero últimamente aparecen tarde, tío, las notificaciones. Sería clave para este verano. Eso he pensado yo también, tío. Ojalá saliera para este verano. Ojalá, tío. Hagan como intentaron hacer con el Fallout 76. Espero que no. Yo también espero lo mismo, tío. Esperemos que no, ¿eh? 2 minutos, ¿eh? Oh, Dios mío, 2 minutos, tío. 2 minutos. 2 minutos. Puedo ver las alertas ahora, macho. Pero nada, creo que ha sido una suscripción, así que muchas gracias por suscribirte. Creo que ha sido en Twitch, ¿no? ¿Suscripción? Creo que sí. 50.000 personas, loco. ¿Sabéis qué significa esto? O sea, mirar. Mirar el chat. Mirar. Si es que yo no me aclararía con todo esto. O sea, yo no me podría aclarar con todo. En serio, es que es de locos. Mirar mi chat, ¿vale? Este es mi chat. Mirar esto. Pues sería increíble, ¿no? Que tuviera esto. Pero bueno. 52.000 personas, tío. 7:26. Me da tiempo a ir a buscar una cosa. O sea, me da tiempo. ¿Vale? Voy a quitar la cámara un momento. Me da tiempo, gente. Me da tiempo, dime que sí. Gracias, Stefan, por por seguirme en Twitch, ¿vale? Ahora vengo, gente. Ahora vengo. ¿20, 25 segundos? 25 putos segundos, tío. O sea, es que es de locos. Es que es de putos locos esto, ¿eh? Es que es de locos. Oye, ¿por qué no puedo...? Ah, vale, que ya está ahí. Vale, ahí. Ay. Dios, vamos a poner los cascos. Tengo el audio, ¿no? Puesto al máximo. Ahí viene.
Hello guys, nice to meet you. I'm Leer, and this is Dying to Know. If you're dying to know what's going on in the world of Dying Light 2, then you're in the right place. Here we'll be showing you all the news, the latest from the Dying Light world. We'll be announcing a few contests, we'll be talking to developers, and probably most importantly, we're going to be showing you a brand new gameplay trailer where you can see the current state of the Dying Light 2 game. But first, there's someone here I need to introduce you to. It's Aiden Caldwell.
Eso ya lo sabemos, ya lo sabemos. Bueno.
Roaming like a Japanese Ronin or an Old West desperado. My past is dark, but my future has a tiny, dying light at the end of this tunnel.
Bueno.
Hello, guys. My name is Jonas Scott, and I voice Aiden Caldwell in Dying Light 2. But before that, I'm gonna
Ah,
host
sí
this
que da la voz.
program with Leia, if you don't mind.
My pleasure. Well, I'm ready. Jonah's definitely ready. And I hope you're ready.
So if you're dying to know, just like us, then stick with us.
The story
No.
told in Dying Light 2 occurs 20 years after the events of the first game. And if you're wondering what happened in those intervening 20 years, well, there's no better person to ask than the Dying Light 2 world director, Thomas Gabau, with who I'll be talking in just a moment.
And after that, I'll be speaking with Pietro Jemenic, the narrative director of the game, so about the characters that appear in Dying Light 2.
Welcome to the show, Thomas. So the first question I have for you today is, do I need to have played Dying Light 1 to sort of understand what's happening in Dying Light 2?
No, actually, you don't. Like you mentioned before, our game takes place some 20 years later, in a world where humankind has
se puede poner?
lost to the virus. So,
Right.
in a way, you could say that Dying Light 2 takes us to the world beyond.
Es que no entiendo muchas cosas, tío.
Intriguing. All right, tell me more, please.
Well, you remember the events of Heron in 2014. Well,
2014,
after
a
that,
ver.
well, leaders, they had a tough choice to make. They had to isolate the city of Heron.
Right.
For that, they created an exclusion zone. Like in Chernobyl, only a lot more people were left to die inside the walls.
Yeah, right. So they just isolated the entire city. And did it help? Did it stop the virus?
Yeah, for a while it worked. Enough for everyone to forget about it, at least.
Ahora mismo están hablando de los eventos de Legend Light 1.
Continued to study the virus. You know, manipulating its DNA, creating new strains. They were looking for commercial military applications. So, you know, they're doing it for the money, really.
Yeah, of course. So what happened next?
Well, next, the shit hit the fan. By Christmas 2021, one of these mutated strains escaped from a level 4 laboratory located near Geneva. We don't really know if this was accidental or not, but this time
Oye,
the
¿quién es
virus
este tío?
was much faster than any government. Before the world could react, civilization was on the brink of collapse. People
Ojo,
were dying in the streets,
Dios, es que va a ser una...
burning.
va a ser una puta.
By the end of 2023, 98% of the population had been lost to the virus. There was a few settlements remaining, but only one city was still standing.
100.000 personas.
Or city, Villador, aka
Dios.
the city.
Right, so Villador is what we have left. So that's everything that's happened outside of the city. What actually happens inside Villador?
Well, the city has unique rules. First of all, it's surrounded by seemingly impassable walls. And inside the walls, the people decided to use a radical new weapon against the infection, which actually gave them the upper hand in the first stage
Ojo.
of the pandemic.
El ahogado. Este se llama ahogado.
New monster archetypes. 15
Nuevos,
years on,
sí, es verdad, nuevos
Colombia
monstruos, es verdad.
emerged in the city. By daylight, human factions fight to control the city, and at night,
Hay humanos que están controlando la ciudad.
of these bloodthirsty infected monsters.
Great. Well, that is extremely interesting. Thank you very much, Thomas. And we'll be hearing more about the vibrant and fantastic city soon, I hope. But first, I think we need to hear a little bit more about the characters.
Es que hay muchas cosas que no entiendo, tío. Y como estoy leyendo,
Second guest is a man of
no puedo
two
traducir a la vez,
industries,
tío.
cinema and gaming. In a previous life, he wrote the hit HBO series Vataha?
Vataha, yeah.
Vataha.
Este es el narrador.
Techland to become a narrative director.
Director
Jemenic.
narrador.
Thank you.
So we have plenty of time to talk about the rest of the characters in Dying Light 2. There are tons of them. But today I think we want to focus on
Personaje.
Aiden Caldwell, the protagonist. You want to talk more about him? Or?
Yeah, sure. So,
A ver.
Aiden, he's the member of Outcasts, you know, the group of people traveling through this dangerous world of Dying Light 2 called pilgrims, because he's looking for his relative, the person whom he lost many, many years ago, and that person is his only memory from the past, and the only answer to whom Aiden really is.
Aiden is a really rich, deep character, very, very much cooler than I am.
Oh, no, come on.
I mean, he can run across buildings, jump from rooftop to rooftop, use all kinds of weapons.
Yeah, well, you know, he didn't have much choice. This world is full of infected, bloodthirsty creatures, so he didn't have much choice, right? The weak die, the strong survive, and Aiden, he just has to be strong. But why did he come like that? Why him? That's the main question of the game, and the player will have opportunity also to decide how Aiden will evolve. Will he help the weak? Will it distract him from his main goal? Or maybe he will just strive to the end of his search as soon as possible.
I can't imagine trying to survive or live in a city like that as a lone wolf by yourself
No.
without any kind of support.
Well, he's not gonna be alone, you know. He will meet many people. But again, depending on the player choices, some of them will become his allies, but some of them will become his enemies. One of the group he will encounter are the
Esto ya lo hablaron.
The former special force officers.
No vamos a estar solos, siempre vamos a tener una banda, siempre tenemos que unirnos a una banda. O sea, no tenemos la oportunidad de estar solos.
To help the people during the night. And the night, as you know, is pretty horrifying in the game.
Yeah, so Aiden joins the Night Runners?
Oh, that's the question, my friend. The player will have to answer too. I won't spoil the pleasure of discovering Aiden's actions and true motivations, but what I can share with you is the fact that we really put big effort to make this character and many others complex and multidimensional. But there is so much more to be discovered during the game.
Oh, that's fascinating. Can't wait to learn more. Thank you so much, Pierre.
Thank you, thank you.
Esto ya está grabado. Lo que pasa es que lo están poniendo.
Before we watch the gameplay
Este está grabado.
trailer of Dying Light 2 for the first time, we need to talk about something which is basically at the center of the Dying Light universe, which is
The community. Over the past few years,
No me jodas.
Dying Light has amassed over 23 million players and a
23 millones de
95%
jugadores.
positive review rating on Steam.
which
En
is
Dying Light 1.
overwhelmingly positive. So
¿Sabéis lo que es eso?
I'd like to take a few seconds and thank you guys.
thank you all for being on this journey with us. Thank you for sharing your love with others of Dying Light. And thank you for these great moments spent together. Dying Light 1 has some amazingly creative fans, which is fantastic, pardon the pun, because we're going to be starting a brand new contest which will combine your love of Dying Light with that same creativity.
With the release date of Dying Light 2 drawing ever closer, we'd like to extend our hand and invite you to make the community a little bit bigger. If you find yourself skilled in the ways of visual arts, writing, or costumes and cosplay, please join the Dying Light universe.
So check out dyinglightgame.com/contest, and if you win, there's a fantastic monetary prize on the line. But also, there's some other great rewards you could be with a chance with winning as well.
Like Platinum Edition of Dying Light.
Joder.
Look at this. This is the finest edition
Es la
of
puta
Dying
fecha, me
Light
cago en
ever
todo,
made. This
tío.
is the Platinum Edition of Dying Light.
Sí, la edición
Every
Platinum,
bit of
es verdad.
content ever released for Dying Light in one place. It's massive. I mean, look at it.
For those of you who haven't experienced Dying Light yet, we are introducing Dying Light 1 Platinum Edition. It's the biggest and most complete edition to have ever existed.
And we're offering it to you now at an historically low price. All the content, lowest price.
It's literally no better
Claro,
time
es
to
que-
buy than now, and you can get it on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Get your Platinum Edition of Dying Light now. This is the best offer, like, ever.
Ya tengo el de
Yes, we don't
Dying
have time to
Light.
go over
Coño.
everything that's in the
Piche.
Platinum Edition, but it is everything. This is how it looks.
Todo del juego. Está ahí, en esa edición. Hellraid. El pack de armas, de skins. El de Following. El Bozak. Joder.
Okay, so I'm excited because
ver.
you guys are in just a second gonna see the official gameplay trailer for Dying Light 2. And then after that, we're gonna interview some of the devs that made it possible.
So, without further ado, here it is.
Hey everyone, we've been quiet for some
Ojo.
time, since, like the rest of the world, we had some unforeseen
Ojo,
hurdles to clear. But the wait is over. Let's dive into the open world of Dying Light 2.
Techland presenta
The last slice of Dying Light
2019.
is the mission from the main storyline.
You get after those fuckers.
You saw how your decisions influenced the narrative and notably changed the environment. This time, we want to give you a broader look at the game and a sneak peek at some of the things we'll be talking about in upcoming
Ojo.
months.
Caídas. Hostia, es que mola un montón, tío. Está todo plantado.
Dying Light 2, you become Aiden
Todo
Caldwell,
verde,
outsider
tío.
trying to unravel a tangled mystery from his past. Its trail leads him to the city, probably the last bastion of mankind in the world.
Dios. Bien, zombies. Coño, la tía Jesusa.
At first, you feel like this intense, brutal place will tear you apart. But then you meet the Night Runners, veteran survivors who help people in better days.
By the way, I'm Hagen.
¿Te pueden ayudar?
We used to help people, remember? Night runners are gone. Finished.
¿En serio?
And although it's not entirely clear you can trust them,
Te pueden ayudar otros supervivientes del juego. Wow.
and these are the modern Dark Ages. It's
Ojo,
been 15 years since the apocalypse and the world has changed. The old civilization has fallen, but a new one has been built on its ashes. People fight desperately for scarce resources.
Buah, es que va a ser todo hostias, todo peleas, tío.
Punished.
Hostia, le ha cortado la cabeza a la tía.
In the city. Survivors pride themselves on being able to adapt to any circumstances and cobble together safe zones almost everywhere. Peacekeepers, loyal soldiers who want to impose their version of law and order and trample all in their path. Renegades, ex-prisoners serving their ruthless colonel, seeking to become sole rulers of the city.
Hostia, no he entendido eso último, tío. No he entendido eso último, tío.
Use these factions to reach your goal.
Las facciones.
Arm them to reshape the city to your liking.
¡Hostia, qué guapo!
Each
¡Hostia, qué guapo eso rojo!
complex characters.
Eso era una trampa, ¿eh?
Nosy Parker, ain't ya? Got some kind of bad habit of yours?
So, will you follow cold calculation or your heart?
The bazaar needs good people. Help us and you'll find a home here.
Some in the city offer no chance for an alliance. Bandits, outlaws, and common thugs live only to plunder and kill, plunging the streets into chaos.
Uf. Yo es que lo de las facciones, macho, hay que pensárselo muy bien a quién unirse, tío.
Here's all of them equally.
Ojito que vienen los zombies. And good luck.
Darkness changes the rules of the world. As the light fails, monsters crawl out of hiding to prey on the
¿Cómo salen de noche, loco? Mira, mira, mira.
safety of UV rays. Hordes of infected pour into the streets like decaying lava.
De noche hay demasiados, ¿eh?
The
Uy,
deadly
papá.
spawn of 15 years of mutation and evolution.
Mira, 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 mira. ¡Hostia! ¿El nuevo? Se corta. Hostia, tío, pídate de ahí, me cago en tu casta.
Brutality and flee to the roofs. Though even there, you are never safe from swift and deadly virals.
¡Quieta, perro! Dale, dale, dale. Son todos y... No puede ser. Todos se vuelven locos de noche si te ven. Ojito, ahí está jodido.
Night brings opportunity as well. Nests rife with infected during the day now lie empty.
Ojo.
To explore them, you must tread carefully.
Tío, es que se vuelven como locos,
Brave
loco.
enough to face the terrors of the night can loot a jackpot.
Dios. El antídoto. Ah, no, es la anticina. ¿Vale?
Luckily, you have
Alta ahí.
all the tools you need to survive. Your extraordinary parkour skills allow you to navigate even the most treacherous terrain.
Qué mal se ve, tío. Qué mal se ve por el puto internet.
On the roofs, you can count on your parkour acrobatics to save your life. But often, you'll have to face your enemies head on. And then you have to be smart,
¡Tírale, tírale! ¡Perro! ¡Hala!
resourceful,
Adiós, baby.
and
Toma.
determined.
Vamos a tener arco,
making sure swinging a big meaty weapon is fun, satisfying, and well executed. But even the most
Tío, se ve borroso,
can be tactical as well. You have
Voy a ponerlo así porque es que se ve muy borroso, tío.
toward the gameplay style that suits you best. It's up to you if you focus mostly on mobility and parkour, or aggressive, blunt force combat, or a crafty approach where the tools you've created get the job done. Every ability you learn can be a game changer and possibly a new favorite move.
Oh, Dios mío. Me gusta que pongan esto, tío. Me gusta.
Dying Light 2. Each moment matters. Each move could mean triumph or defeat. Choose your actions and events carefully. Everything you do in the city can reshape the gameplay environment, change the course of the narrative, and decide the fate of the city's residents. But most importantly, you decide your own fate as well.
You're about to turn.
Make sure
Ojito.
you stay human.
Dios. Necesita anticina ese hombre. Un
Extensive
hospital.
apocalyptic world. And I really like that divisiveness, you know, the life on the roof and then death on the streets.
Yeah, like the intensity of the day and the night cycle together.
Yeah, it's almost like Dying Light 2 is two different games put together into one.
Yeah, like despite all the brutality going on the ground floor, there's something about like the rooftops and the plants.
It's cozy.
Yeah, I kind of want to be there. But it does feel like every decision is vital. Like your choices actually do have some consequences.
Choices and consequences are incredibly vital to Dying Light 2's gameplay. And we're going to interview some devs and talk about some other very vital gameplay mechanics.
A ver.
Our next guest is Adrian Pizza-Shizevsky.
Los de movimientos yo creo que van a hablar, ¿no?
Awesome. I know we can't wait to get our hands on it, but congrats.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like you guys have a very unique world and a very unique game. Where y'all get your inspiration from?
Oh, that was a research. We did a deep dive into the history of our world, and we found repetitive patterns. We found that people use the same behaviors in the past after the fall of civilization or after the fall of the nation that's supposed to be a backbone of our world. So our approach was super simple. We just copycat those behaviors and attitudes and show you how our world would look like after the fall. However, it's kind of obvious that the main reason that civilization fall is virus pandemic or eventually the economical collapse. Yeah, that's basically obvious thing. But it's even darker if you connect those things with the research we did at the beginning of the production. So people will question everything. They're gonna blame everything and everyone that's supposed to guide us in our lives every day. So they're gonna blame governments, they're gonna blame law, they're gonna blame science, or even religion. Some people might ask themselves that, where was God when it happened to us, basically, you know? So I feel that all of those things together creates the sensation that it's a giant step backward for our civilization.
So, Dying Light 2 has a subtitle, Stay Human. What does that mean?
Well, it's super hard to remember those values that makes us human, so like compassion or support. So the entire fall, that those dark times we have is a big test for everyone. And I think it's even harder test because to stay human, people would sacrifice what's the most important for them or sometimes risk their lives.
Wow, so that's like really intense. And there's like the obvious like double meaning to it, which is what I was thinking. Stay human, don't become a zombie.
Yeah, but one disclaimer, those are not zombies, you know, those are infected people that turn to be a monster. They're just crossing a line, you know, and they're turning to be a monster, you know, because in Dying Light we all infected. Yeah, we all wearing this biomarker, you know it, and you're wearing this, I'm wearing this.
Sí, es verdad, tenemos un dispositivo.
You know that, you know, so that's the
En el brazo.
The challenge is to not cross this line at all costs. So that's the biggest challenge of staying human in this meaning.
I see, yeah, not zombies.
Not zombies.
Not zombies.
People have crossed the line.
Right, well, fascinating. Thank you so much, Adrian. We're definitely going to be hearing from you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We have with us Katarzyna Tarnacka, the environmental art director.
Hi.
Directora de arte.
Designer Michał Duzak.
Hello.
Y diseñador de juego. El diseñador.
Make a choice and they
Hostias.
have to experience or endure the consequences. What does that mean?
Basically, the whole system of choice and consequences is really, really complex. I would say the best way to describe it is that player is making the decisions based on 3 layers. First one are the choices that you do during the main story missions. And those big changes are actually can change the whole game or even how the story ends. The second layer are choices that you do while the quests. And those choices can actually influence the mission itself. And the last one, the last layer is so-called city alignment system. And I, as an open world game designer, would like to focus on.
Please do, go on.
All right, so water and electricity are basically a key to survive in every world. By restoring it, player can not only unlock the water or electricity in the area, but he can also, based on his decision, assign it to one of the factions, which will influence how the district looks like or who's going to live inside of it. But it also, what is pretty more important for a player, unlock new tools for him, like unique tools for each factions, like car traps, zip lines, or a trampoline. That player can use in exploration to deal with bandits or infected, or simply to move faster through the city. So basically, based on your choices, you shape the game environment, which gives you a different experience every time you start a new game. And what is worth mentioning here that Dying Light 2 is playable up to 4 co-op players. So you can host the game or join other players and see how their choices came up differently to your own.
Interesting.
There's one thing I'm really curious about, though. Night versus day. How does the gameplay differ from the night and the day?
Well, the short answer is that day is for humans and night is for the monsters. But
Dios mío, va a ser la puta hostia este juego, tío. Va a ser la puta hostia. O sea,
humans, factions, bandits or survivors scavenging the city and searching for some
es que va a haber un montón de cosas.
who might have them. And
Es lo que está diciendo ahora, va a haber zombies, supervivientes.
Meet its citizens, learn the stories, day-to-day agenda, or even simply help them in a quest or open world activities to survive those dark ages.
Yeah, and that sounds quite pleasant, but I'm guessing night changes everything.
Exactly, exactly. During the night, all the infected get out of the buildings, and compared to the Dying Light 1, the night is going to be even more intense this time. Intense in terms of the amount of enemies, the new types and new...
Dios, es que de noche es increíble cómo han mutado los zombies, tío. Es increíble.
An opportunity for the players who are courage and skilled enough to use the fact that all the infected are outside and buildings are accessible to explore them and search for the most valuable loot in the game.
Katarzyna, you're responsible for the post-apocalyptic look of the city. Can you tell us a little bit how about the city became to look that way?
Yes. I guess the important thing to realize is in 2025, a decision was made to use a
Diseñadora de arte.
to stop the
Ojito,
spread
eh.
of the Haran virus. And the result is a tight ring of chemically active areas around the city. Some of the chemicals have gotten into the groundwater and spread under the surface, killing every living plant and every living thing in its reach. What it means for the city is that the street levels are virtually dead. The soil is unable to sustain any life, any plant, and the street level is a domain of the monsters, just decaying in every aspect.
Wow, so it sounds like there's just no healthy organic life down there at all.
Not really. The survival on the street level is pretty tough, so the common people are just visitors there. But the life prevailed. It moved up to the rooftops. And this is
Me gusta mucho cómo está. Es justo lo que está diciendo ahora. Todo cubierto de plantas, tío. Es increíble, me encanta ese detalle, tío.
Dying Light 2, electricity producing
Increíble.
windmills and safe zones for the player. And in a way, in a metaphorical sense, the rooftops are
Claro, es lo que no entendí antes.
ground floor, the level 0, and trip to the streets is
Si activamos
in a way
una torre de
a trip
electricidad,
underground, a -1 of sorts.
desbloqueamos una parte del mapa.
Of a lost
Igual que los Far Cry.
civilization.
Igual.
Yeah, that's to say the least. I can't imagine
Increíble,
being a
tío,
citizen living
increíble.
in that city, let alone being a player, and how challenging that's going to be.
Yeah, and hold that thought. Thank you very much for joining us today, but it's now time to introduce our next guests.
Además es que las estructuras, ¿vale? van a ser todas distintas. En Dying Light 1 eran casi todas iguales. Y aquí va a ser todo diferente, tío.
We know that. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, of course. The map in Dying Light 2 is divided into 2 huge regions and several zones. There are plenty leftovers from the lost civilization for you to scavenge. But we didn't want our players to perceive the map only horizontally, so we see the map as a multi-level 3D world that supports your traversal and helps you solve parkour puzzles.
Yes, in-house we call it multi-layer open world exploration. And you know, the movement system from Dying Light 1, we remove every restriction from the player. You can move everywhere you want, how you want to do it. And when I think about it, I think that was a big challenge for us to create the geometry that supports all of that. And we did it, and I think we did it well. Doing the same thing in Dying Light 2 wasn't our goal. We want to make one or more step forward to surprise the player expectation. That's why we doubled the number of parkour moves.
Doubled, and I mean, it's not like there was a shortage in Dying Light 1, so what?
Yes, the iconic Dying Light 1 parkour is essential there. We improve it. We double the number of parkour moves. The players will see over 3,000 different parkour animations.
3.000?
Basic move, through the tricks.
Oh, Dios mío.
3.000. Details there that you can see it.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to stop you there, but don't hate me because in the
3.000 movimientos diferentes de parkour. 3.000.
Managed to make an authentic urban running experience in Dying Light 2.
Thank you guys
¿Qué
so
es
much for
esto,
the
loco?
information.
¿Qué es esto, tío?
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Que salga ya, tío, que salga ya.
Okay, so the last and arguably the most important question I'm sure you have is, when is the release date?
Yeah, that is a very, 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 very important question.
And luckily, we have the answer. And that answer is the 7th of
Ahí está.
December.
7 de diciembre de 2021, gente. 7 de diciembre de 2021. Se puede ya hacer la reserva, Vale. 7 de diciembre de 2021. Y se puede hacer ya la reserva, ¡Ojo! La figura. Edición coleccionista de Dying Light 2. No, bueno, a mí no me parece que sea pequeño, la verdad. Caja metálica, libro de arte, linterna ultravioleta.
As well as all sorts of digital elements. For more information on these digital elements, please visit the pre-order website. I want this, and I want Dying Light 2.
Kind of thought you'd say that. Well, if you're feeling the same way, then I've got good news.
Vale, al hacer la reserva, nos llevaremos esto. Esto, ¿vale? Esto. Una mochila, un traje y no sé qué más era.
Legendary pack and digital soundtrack and much more.
Edición estándar, deluxe y la collection, ¿vale? Edición coleccionista.
And if you just can't wait until release to get immersed in the world of Dying Light 2, then why don't you go check out the Techland Gamers and Goodies website for more info.
Yeah, this is a program for all gamers, whether or not you want updates on Dying Light 2 with the news, or you want Dying Light 2 items in Dying Light 1. Everyone's going to find something they like there.
Vale, en esta página encontraremos pues imágenes estas de grandes de Dying Light 2 y no sé qué más. Es que no lo he leído bien. Wallpapers vamos a tener en esa página y más cosas.
And here's a sneak peek at the topic of the next episode. Thank you for watching and stay safe out there. Bye.
Vale, ya está, gente. Aquí se ha acabado. Ojo. ¡Ojo! Dios, cómo salían todos, gente. ¿Lo habéis visto? Todos los zombies. Este es el matón, este es el... no sé, este no sé. Este no sé. Es que son nuevos, tío. El cólico modificado. Vale, nada, si los reservamos nos llevaremos esto. Una mochila. Esto creo que es ropa. Vale. Y un hacha y un machete. ¿vale? Yo creo que esto es en tamaño grande. O sea, esto nos lo podemos vestir, la mochila también, ¿vale? Y esto creo que también es en tamaño grande, ¿vale? Dios. Dios, tío. Mira la gente cómo se va, tío, ahora. Cómo se van, tío. Hostias, loco. Hostias, tío, hostias. Hostias. Pero la gente sigue hablando, ¿eh? La gente sigue hablando. 1 hora han estado, ¿eh? 1 hora, ¿en serio? Tío, pues se me ha pasado rapidísimo. Se me ha pasado rapidísimo, tío. Pues nada. Muchas gracias, Techland, de verdad. Fecha oficial. 7 de diciembre de 2021. ¿Vale, gente? 7 de diciembre. ¿En serio? Pensé que iba a salir antes, locos. Pensé que iba a salir mucho antes, tío. Pensé que iba a salir antes. Pero bueno, me ha gustado. Sobre todo que vamos a tener 3000 movimientos diferentes de parkour. 3000, o sea, ¿sabéis qué es 3000 movimientos diferentes? En Light, ¿cuántos había? ¿Cuántos había? 4, 5. Aquí vas a tener 3000. O sea, es de locos, ¿no? Es de locos. O sea, ¡guau! Increíble. Bueno, pues nada, gente. Hay que esperar hasta diciembre. Por lo menos va a salir este año, a finales, pero por lo menos sale este año, ¿vale? Así, pues ya lo podéis pedir de regalo de Navidad, ¿vale? Lo podéis pedir. Sale el 7 de diciembre, Navidad es el 25, pues oye, lo podéis pedir como regalo, ¿no? Y nada, gente, aquí lo vamos a dejar. O sea, me ha parecido bien. Han estado hablando un poquito de todo. No he podido traducirlo, o sea, no he podido decir según lo estaba traduciendo, porque si no, no iba a dar tiempo. Ya sabéis que están hablando muy rápido y es que no da tiempo a que yo os diga lo que están diciendo y eso, ¿no? Y a la vez pues traducirlo y a la vez pues ver lo que están diciendo y pues es lioso, es lioso. Pero bueno, tendría que pararlo todo el rato el directo. Así que nada, gente. Hay que esperar hasta diciembre. Es lo malo. Vamos a tener todo cubierto de plantación, tío. O sea, a ver, no todo cubierto. En algunas zonas, ¿vale? Habrá en otros distritos que no habrá plantación o que habrá menos. Pero habrá en una zona en la que habrá un montón. Y eso mola mucho, tío. Porque, a ver, han pasado muchos años y no ha sido cuidado. O sea, la gente no ha estado cortando la plantación, ¿no? Entonces eso crece y crece y crece. Lo mismo pasa en The Last of Us 2, que hay muchísima plantación, ¿no? Simplemente porque en una pandemia no te vas a poner a cortar las plantas de la calle, ¿no? O sea, es de tontos, ¿no? Así que nada, gente, eso. Muchas gracias a todos los que habéis estado. Espero que os haya gustado. A mí me ha encantado, la verdad. Y nada, podéis hacer ya la reserva de Dying Light y os llevaréis el uniforme, la mochila, un hacha y un machete en tamaño real, creo que es. No lo he visto bien. Ahora me informaré mejor, pero creo que es en tamaño real. Y el Dying Light 2 lo tendremos el 7 de diciembre de este mismo año. Así que nada, gente. Muchas gracias, un saludo y nos vemos igual mañana. Hago un directo jugando a Dying Light, ¿vale? Y seguimos hablando sobre esto. Vale, gente, así que nada, un abrazo y nos vemos mañana. Chao, gente.